Welcome everyone to Four Roses. On behalf of the Four Roses family, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for coming out and joining our celebration today as we dedicate our new visitor center. And without further ado, I'd like to turn the podium over to our president and chief executive officer, Mark Ashida.
Welcome to Four Roses. My name is Mark Ashida, president and CEO of Four Roses Distillery. I'm very proud to be here today to celebrate the next step in Four Roses' ongoing investment in Kentucky. In the past several years, we have doubled our distillation capacity here in Lawrenceburg to meet the increasing global demand for our bourbon. We have also built new warehouses in Cox Creek, Kentucky, where our bourbon is quietly aging. And today, we open this beautiful new facility, enhancing our stop on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Over the past 5 years, we have seen more than 40% increase in the number of visitors. And we are so pleased to be able to welcome even more guests from all over the world to this beautiful facility that offers an elevated experience and a number of new tasting and educational opportunities. Kentucky has been our home since 1888, and we are very appreciative of the partnership with Four Roses has had with Kentucky all these many years. We are honored to have with us today Kentucky's number one citizen. Governor Andy Beshear is Kentucky's 63rd governor and is leading the Commonwealth forward on a number of fronts. He understands the important role bourbon plays to Kentucky's success, and we are grateful for his efforts to support our industry. Ladies and gentlemen, Governor Andy Beshear.
Good afternoon, everybody. What a great occasion to be back in Anderson County. It is an honor to be here today as we join the Lawrenceburg community and bourbon lovers everywhere in celebrating the grand opening of this new and expanded Four Roses Distillery Visitor Center. It's great to be here in person as we head into the holiday season. So let's remember that we can continue to gather safely if we take reasonable precautions. We want to make sure that this is a safe Christmas season. You know, the concept of aging quietly, that's a nice one. I think the last 18 months I've been aging quite publicly. But having the ability to do this now, when we think back to March and April of 2020, make sure that we are grateful for every moment we spend together, for every moment that we have exciting announcements like this, and for every moment we get to enjoy some of the best bourbon that is out there. Today's grand opening is further proof of amazing economic momentum we are seeing. Yes, COVID is dark and difficult, but what is in front of us is bright and as optimistic as we have ever seen in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And here, Four Roses is providing a top shelf experience with its award-winning spirits as the ties between Kentucky's bourbon and tourism industry further deepen. Known internationally as the bourbon capital of the world, Kentucky's economic landscape for bourbon, manufacturing, and tourism create the perfect landscape for the perfect recipe, if you will, for a business like Four Roses to not only introduce its product to more people, but show off the best of Kentucky and the best of Anderson County. Let's talk about how big and how delicious that bourbon is. Bourbon is an $8.6 billion signature industry here in Kentucky. It provides, and thank you for this, more than 20,000 jobs for our citizens. It has an annual payroll topping $1 billion. Right now, there are more than 10 million barrels aging in the Commonwealth. That is 2 barrels for every living, breathing Kentuckian, so I expect 2 of those once they're done. Today, roughly 70 spirits facilities employ more than 5,100 people. And since the start of 2020, even in the midst of this pandemic, We've seen more than 30 new location or expansion announcements with $600 million in planned investment and approximately 500 new full-time jobs. You know, it'll be in January that I'll give the state of the Commonwealth. But let me say here, despite a pandemic, the state of the bourbon industry is strong and getting stronger. And isn't it amazing? In just a handful of years, what has happened with the tourism industry around bourbon? It has taken off, with so much credit going to outreach for the popular Kentucky Bourbon Trail, of which Four Roses is a founding member. If you think about that $9 billion, $8+ billion industry for bourbon, tourism is another $8.9 billion, and that is despite the challenges we've recently faced. Bourbon continues to revolutionize this tourism industry by pouring much needed revenue into our local communities. Visitors to distilleries spend between $400 and $1,200 on an average during a single trip through bourbon country, and we're pretty sure that this experience is going to help them spend even more. So from new distilleries and barrel aging rickhouses to state-of-the-art bottling facilities and innovative tourism centers, bourbon is helping to lead Kentucky toward an era of leadership, economic leadership in the post-COVID era. So it's important that everybody knows that when it comes to bourbon and bourbon tourism, that this administration is your partner and fully supports you. Even beyond setting the right business climate here in Kentucky, the administration has worked hard to get rid of crushing international tariffs that threaten this industry. From the moment that the new administration in Washington, D.C. got started, I repeatedly called my good friend Gina Raimondo, including when she was in her confirmation hearing. She later let me know about that, and then she realized I was not watching. But being able to explain what this means to us, to our way of life as people, to our future, and the impact that this would have disproportionately on Kentuckians and almost no one else, was a message that was heard loud and clear. In less than 4 days before that really good day, when the announcement came that we were going to see the end of these tariffs, Secretary Raimondo looked at me and said, "This is my #1 goal right now as Commerce Secretary." I think we owe her a big round of applause. But that is my commitment. With an industry like this, you deserve a fully supportive governor, because you are a part of not just a special day, but a special time in the Commonwealth. We have an economy on fire, the likes of which we have never seen. By the end of this month, I believe we will have shattered every economic development record, from total investment to new jobs. I think we're going to cross $11 billion in new investment. More new jobs than we've ever seen at the second highest wage in our history. Folks, we are on a roll. We will never be a flyover state ever again. With bourbon this good, we will be the destination. And I am excited to celebrate here today with our wonderful Team Kentucky partners in Four Roses. Thank you all very much.
You cannot build a structure such as this without a lot of planning, a lot of hard work, and some excellent partnerships. In total, 53 different companies and organizations worked together to construct this building. Hundreds of workers over the last year and a half have labored at this site. 111 years ago, our predecessors decided that the Spanish mission style of architecture was going to really catch on in Kentucky. But they determined that that's what they wanted to stay with, and so when we were trying to design and figure out what we were going to do at the visitor center, we thought we would stay with that. And believe it or not, 111 years ago, they selected an architectural firm, Joseph & Joseph out of Louisville, to help them do that. And you know what? We selected Joseph & Joseph to help us design this. And so we'd like to say a very special thanks to Ed Kruger, who is not with us today, but Cash Motor, and Shelley Malachy here from Joseph & Joseph. Thank you all so much. We also selected a very well-known construction company, Sullivan Cozart, and some fine people from there. We'd like to thank Mike Thorpe and Ryan Downs and Brian Osborne and Ralph Dibble. And I think they're standing in the back, but tremendous job. Thank you all. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Ryan Ashley. He's our Chief Operations Officer, and he's going to share with you just a little bit about what you're going to see when you get to go inside. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I think I have the easy job here, or maybe Brent has the better, easier job coming up. But thank you for joining us on this very special day. This new visitor center is over 14,000 square feet, and our visitors experience manager, Kelly Wright, and her team have thought very carefully about how to make this a welcoming and immersive experience to learn about our products, our processes, and our history. Inside, you'll find Bar 1888, our brand new bourbon and cocktail bar, which will offer a number of new tasting opportunities. The space itself draws from several bourbon-related features: white oak floors and ceilings paying tribute to our bourbon barrels. Our bar tables feature 100-year-old reclaimed barnwood, and a section of the original Vendome copper beer still is featured inside. But perhaps the feature inside that's most special to me, and I'm sure quite a few of you out there, is the new interactive display showcasing the range of Four Roses bottlings from throughout our brand's 133-year history. We're dedicating this new display in the name of the late Al Young, who spent more than 50 years as part of the Four Roses family. Al served a variety of roles at the Distillery, but is best known and beloved by many for his storytelling. As brand ambassador and historian, he spent years researching, archiving, going through distillery records, news accounts, photos, artifacts, and bending the ear and asking the question of anyone he could find. All in order to record and share the rich history of Four Roses with the people around the world. Anyone who met Al knew he was something special. Members of Al's family are here today: his daughter Heather, son Mark, and his beautiful bride Gretchen. Today we honor the memory of our beloved friend through the Al Young Archive Collection. His work in helping to tell the story of Four Roses will be displayed to Four Roses visitors for many years to come. Please join me in a round of applause. A plaque to commemorate Al and the dedication to the archives. Well, thank you again. Lastly, we will conclude with a toast from our master distiller, Brent Elliot.
Here, wait a minute.
Okay, you can just put it down there.
All right, thank you, Ryan. And once again, on behalf of the entire Four Roses staff, we want to thank you all for coming out and for all the support, not only today, but through the years. And so I think it's only fitting that to help warm up, but more importantly, to toast this occasion, we have found something very special. This is a very limited 20-year-old single barrel that we've selected for this occasion. So I'd like to share this with all of you in raising a toast to the new visitor center and all of the hard work and dedication that went into it. Cheers. Cheers.